I'm going to call to order this July 10th special meeting of the Forest Hills Board of Education. This is a meeting held in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a community public hearing. There is a time for public comment in agenda item 10. If you would like to speak at public comment, please fill out one of the comment cards that are right outside the door where you came in. They will be picked up around the superintendent's report. Now would you please stand and join us as Mr. Colley leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome to July, everybody. Can I please have a motion to approve consent grouping items 3A1 through 3C1?
No motion. I second.
All right, is there any discussion on any of these items? They're all pretty straightforward. We do most of these every July. Setting up the board meetings, common calendar dates, authorization, all the stuff that you've seen on here that comes up every year. Any questions or?
Maybe we just need to just say that we've changed the meeting dates
Yes.
so that there's less conflict in the calendar year.
Correct, yes. Our meeting
So-
dates will now be going on generally on the second
Second,
Monday
yes.
of the month instead of the third Monday of the month.
Yep.
Yes.
Which will then also push our committee meetings
Committee
a
meetings
week
will be
earlier.
will be the week prior
Yep.
still. Yes. And of course, you know, when you get into the springtime with graduation and things like that, then there's always a little flux in the calendar, but that happens every year, no matter when our meetings are.
Yep. Okay.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Anything else? Okay, could we please have a roll call vote? Yes, Trent.
Dr. Mashad,
Yes.
Ms. Kermode,
Yes.
Mr. Colley,
Yes.
Dr. Fawson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tryon, yes.
All right. The next few items are items that would normally have been on a consent grouping had we had committee meetings, but we didn't have any, so they're pulled out separately because they're one-off things. The first is, can I please have a motion to approve the purchase of office furniture for Central High School from Interphase Interiors for amount not to exceed $157,165.
My motion.
I'll second.
Okay, this is first batch of furniture coming into Central High School who's started their renovation and they're starting in the office area, so this will get them equipped. Any questions or, okay, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Dr. Mashad,
Yes.
Ms. Kermode,
Yes.
Mr. Colley,
Yes.
Dr. Fawson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tryon, yes.
All right. The next, can I please have a motion to approve the purchase and installation of interactive flat panels from Digital Age Technologies for an amount not to exceed $1,334,640?
Second.
Okay, these are the interactive flat panels. These are the BenQ boards. We had a trial phase with them at Pine Ridge Elementary, and now we're rolling them out to all of the elementary schools. Anything further on this?
Does this
Okay.
become two per school, or is this, how many is it?
No,
Yes,
this
it
will
come-
be in the
In
classroom.
the classroom.
This is
In
a
the
large,
classroom.
The
Yes.
large
yeah,
one for
file
all
is
the
done.
classes.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And important to note that there will be training in each of the buildings for those as well, so that they are utilized. They may not all get put in before the start of the year, that's the goal, but they won't be taking out the overhead projectors and all that, just in case there is that delay, so the teachers don't have any inconvenience with not being able to display the materials on that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Do a roll call vote?
Yeah. Dr. Mashad,
Yes.
Ms. Kermode,
Yes.
Mr. Colley,
Yes.
Dr. Fawson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tryon, yes.
All right, next is salary schedules. Can I have a motion to approve the administrative salary schedules as presented in the board packet?
I have a motion.
I'll second. Okay.
Okay, these are salary schedules for the administrative level. Office of Retirement Services requires that all salaries be on a salary schedule so that when it's time to retire, they can go back and look at what the top 3 or top 5 years of earnings were. And this just formalizes that so that there aren't any questions with ORS. Any questions? Okay. Roll call vote.
Dr. Mashad,
Yes.
Ms. Kermode,
Yes.
Mr. Colley,
Yes.
Dr. Fawson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tryon, yes.
All right, board policies. Can I please have a motion to approve the changes to board policies recommended to us by Trune as presented in the board packet?
A motion.
Second?
Okay, these are, every year we get a list of changes from Trune. This is the yearly update of, frequently they come in August. This year they came in July. Mostly just changing of names, moving over to, like now instead of Christina Neese, we have Tom Hosford, things like that, changes in addresses, grammatical errors, changes, things like that. Any questions or discussion on this one? Okay. Roll call vote?
Dr. Rashad?
Yes.
Ms. Clement?
Yes.
Mr. Colley?
Yes.
Dr. Dawson?
Yes.
Mrs. Tran, yes.
All right, and that brings us up to the superintendent report.
All right, just a couple items. One, just want to officially welcome Tom Hosford. This is his first board meeting, official board meeting, being here as the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, and he's hit the ground running and fits in well with the team, so happy to have him here. Also wanted to recognize within the consent agenda was a common calendar, and the common calendar is a 5-year outlook that the countywide schools follow, so that's the minimum that has to happen at a school district in Kent County. So when people are looking for their travel plans and all of that, regardless of whether or not we actually have a collective bargaining agreement with a calendar in it, those are the dates that you could look at and know that those would be honored. So people are asking, please know that. So just wanted to mention the state legislature hasn't been in session since July 1. So there's really been no budget progress at all. There was lots of talk about getting some numbers out, but there has been no real action. Did want to mention the federal pause in K-12 funding. That's something that's been in the news a lot. There's a list of basically title allocations that have been paused. The executive branch can't, the way that things are now, the executive branch can't just say we're not going to have those funds in those schools because they were already approved by Congress with a continuing resolution. But they can delay, which they have delayed. Ultimately, for us, we don't fund a lot of summer type programs, summer employees, and that with these federal funds, so it doesn't impact us. But those communities and schools that are running, summer programs and that have that funding source, are having to make some difficult decisions. We're not in that case. Ultimately, there's 2 buckets of funds: Title IIA and Title 3A, which is around ELL, English Language Services, and then the Title IIA is around professional development. Those are really the funds that would impact us. Those would impact us if we didn't get the Title II funds, because Title II funds are what we use for professional development. That allows us to bring our teachers out of the classroom, pay for subs, provide some of the trainings and so on. So that would definitely be very difficult. One of the things that I've read around all that is that there is a thought that those funds aren't used appropriately across the nation. And so one of the things that I've been reading is that there's more of potentially like an approval process to use those funds rather than giving districts those funds and then using them however going through the approval process. So we'll see how that goes, but currently it's a pause. It's not that districts aren't getting those funds. So I just wanted to make sure to share that. Any questions on that at all?
When they say they're not used appropriately, is there data or are they just hypothesizing?
So I don't really know what they're basing that judgment on. I know that obviously the education department at the federal level has been under scrutiny and questions. So I don't know if they've uncovered certain items that they didn't think were appropriately used. But again, for us, we don't have anything that has a July 1st date that we need the funds by. So.
Okay.
And then the other thing to mention is that I've been talking about is the federal voucher program. That is something that was in the big beautiful bill that got passed and signed, but it is a much different looking voucher program than what was originally put out there. So ultimately, states have to opt in to this program. I would be shocked if the state of Michigan opted in for it, but it basically ends up being about a $1,700 tax credit for an individual taxpayer. And then there's a certain group within the state that has to be identified that would be where the donation would go. And they would only be able to fund K-12. So again, states have to opt in, and I doubt that our state is going to opt in based on our political climate and the things that we've seen in the past. So it's just my opinion on that.
Will they opt in through, like to the voters or at the legislative level?
I believe, and I'm not even sure if it's the which branch or if it's the education departments. I honestly haven't read that deep into it to see who makes that choice. It's likely the legislative level who would have to approve to have that type of a program. That would be my best understanding of it. But all of the associations so far have said they don't see it happening in Michigan. And then those states that do opt in, 2027 is the year that it would start. So I just wanted to share that. Those were the items that I had for the superintendent's report as far as the informational. I did want to recognize our communication department did a fabulous job with, so thanks to Isabel. And
It was a good one.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good.
It was like chock full of information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was chock full of information and lots of celebrations.
Mhm, yes.
So I think that's one of the really great pieces about it. And, we put a few of these out, and this particular one has caught a lot of people's eye. I've gotten a lot of comments on it, whether it was at the gym or text messages from other people that live in the community and stuff. So clearly it hit the mark. So I just wanted to recognize that they're doing a great job with that. So, but other than that, that's what I have.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we are up to board communications. Does anybody have board communications today? Okay, I just have one, and I have spoken to each of you about this, as it was an idea that came up, that we're gonna try moving forward with is, we have the committee meetings one week. We have, then the board meeting is the next Monday. What I would like to do is have a procedure in place where if anybody wants to pull something out of the consent agenda for that Monday meeting, to please let me know on Friday by 5 p.m. That way we have enough, because hopefully when you go to your committee meetings, you get everything you need from the instruction and from finance to be able to vote on all of those things. But I know that every now and then, sometimes a question comes up. Just let me know by Friday at 5 p.m. That way we can try to get you answers
Yeah.
over the weekend or on Monday, depending on how complicated the questions are and who we need to reach to, and if they're out of town for the weekend or whatever. But, it gives us a few days to play with, to try to get the information to you that you need to be able to then make that proper decision. You obviously always have the right to pull something out of the consent agenda. That's sort of why it's there. You want to be able to pull something out, but we want to be able to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to vote on things. And so if there's still a question on Friday at 5 o'clock and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't think about that before and I have a question, or somebody in the community came to me and asked me and I don't know, let me know so that I can direct Ben or the appropriate person to get to you to make sure that that we can get the information and everybody's on the same page.
Val, does that work with the timeline of how the agendas go out and everything?
Yeah, the agenda are usually released the Friday before the
Yeah.
Monday meeting, so
Okay.
that should give you enough
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Assuming in your schedule you have enough time to peek at it.
Yeah.
But I think the other part to acknowledge is that those committee meetings,
Right.
those folders that we upload, all that information. So, like Kristen as a president doesn't go into the committee meetings, she's gonna have to go in and take a look at those, and then
Yeah.
whatever committee you're not on, you're gonna have to go in and take a look at those to get some additional information as well, so.
And that information's made to us well in advance typically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Terrific. That was the only one that I had. All right, public comments. Looks like we don't have any public comments today, so we will skip over that, and that's the end of our meeting here. So is there any other business before the board today? All right, hearing none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.